The lights dimmed, and the Mirage Theatre buzzed with anticipation. The crowd, a mix of tourists, celebrities, and longtime fans, had come for one reason: to witness the impossible. On stage, Siegfried and Roy were at the height of their powers, masters of illusion who had redefined the Las Vegas spectacle. Their show was more than just magic tricks. It was a breathtaking fusion of mystery, elegance, and raw animal power. White tigers prowled through beams of golden light, disappearing into thin air, only to reappear in the blink of an eye. A lion leaped from a floating platform, defying gravity, while Siegfried, ever the showman, grinned as he pulled off yet another mind-bending illusion. And then, there was Roy, standing center stage, gazing into the eyes of Manticore, a 400-pound white tiger who had been his companion for years. The audience watched in awe, unaware that within moments, their world, and Roy's, would change forever. To understand how this night would come to define their legacy, one must go back decades to the unlikely origins of Siegfried and Roy. Born into post-war Germany, Siegfried Fischbacher and Roy Horn grew up in a world of scarcity and hardship. Siegfried, born in 1939 in Rosenheim, had been captivated by magic since childhood. He spent hours practicing tricks, using whatever scraps he could find to create illusions. In a country still reeling from the devastation of World War II, magic was his escape, a way to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Meanwhile, Roy, born in 1944 in Nordenham, had an entirely different fascination. He was obsessed with animals, particularly the exotic and untamed. Unlike other children who were content to visit zoos, Roy wanted to understand animals, to communicate with them. His defining moment came at the age of 10 when he befriended a cheetah named Chico at the Bremen Zoo. While others saw a dangerous predator, Roy saw something else: a soul, a being with thoughts, emotions, and an unspoken bond with him. Their fateful meeting happened aboard the TS Bremen, a luxury cruise liner where Siegfried was performing magic for passengers, and Roy was working as a steward. Siegfried's act was impressive, but he felt it lacked a true element of wonder. Roy, watching from the sidelines, made a bold suggestion. What if Siegfried incorporated an animal into the act? Siegfried was intrigued but skeptical. That's when Roy revealed something astonishing. He had secretly smuggled Chico, the cheetah, onto the ship. It was a moment of pure destiny. When they performed together for the first time, the audience was mesmerized. They had stumbled upon something truly special, a combination of illusion and nature that had never been seen before. From that moment on, Siegfried and Roy were inseparable. They traveled across Europe, honing their act, performing in clubs, and gaining a reputation for their unique blend of magic and wildlife. Their big break came in 1967 when they were invited to Las Vegas to perform at the Tropicana. At a time when the Vegas Strip was dominated by crooners and showgirls, Siegfried and Roy brought something entirely different: white tigers, illusions, and a spectacle that left audiences speechless. They quickly became the hottest act in town. By 1981, they were starring in Beyond Belief at the Frontier Hotel, a show that catapulted them to superstardom. But it was in 1990 that they reached the pinnacle of their career when they signed an unprecedented $57.5 million contract with the Mirage Hotel and Casino. Their show became the most extravagant production Las Vegas had ever seen, with elaborate illusions, stunning stage effects, and a menagerie of rare white tigers, lions, and even elephants. At its peak, Siegfried and Roy at the Mirage grossed over $45 million annually, selling out night after night. Their bond with their animals was legendary. Roy, in particular, insisted that their tigers were not simply performers but family. He raised them, slept near them, and spoke to them as one would a beloved pet. "They are not my animals," Roy often said. "They are my blood." Their signature white tigers, bred at their private sanctuary, became the symbol of their act. Roy often spoke of his deep connection with Manticore, one of the most majestic tigers in their collection. He had bottle-fed Montecore as a cub, nurtured him, and trained him with a philosophy built on trust rather than fear. But as much as Roy believed in his bond with the animals, the wild nature of such creatures could never truly be controlled. On the night of October 3, 2003, everything changed. The show was proceeding as usual, dazzling as ever. Roy introduced Montecore, as he had done countless times before, and the tiger stepped onto the stage, sleek and powerful. But something was off. Montecore hesitated, his ears twitching, sensing something invisible to the human eye. Moments later, as Roy directed Montecore to lie down, the tiger did something unexpected. Instead of obeying, Montecore lunged, clamping his powerful jaws around Roy's neck and dragging him backward. The audience gasped, unsure if this was part of the act. But within seconds, it became clear, this was no illusion. Roy's microphone, still live, captured his final words before losing consciousness. Montecore, no. Backstage, chaos erupted. Trainers rushed to intervene, using fire extinguishers and desperate commands to separate the tiger from Roy. When Montecore finally released him, Roy was barely alive, blood pouring from a severed artery in his neck. Paramedics arrived within minutes, fighting to stabilize him. As he was being wheeled into the ambulance, barely able to speak, Roy used what strength he had left to whisper a final plea. Don't hurt Montecore. Even in the face of death, his love for the tiger remained unwavering. The attack led to endless speculation. Some claimed Montecore had snapped, that a wild animal could never truly be tamed. Others, including Roy himself, insisted that Montecore had not attacked him but was trying to save him. Roy later revealed that he had suffered a minor stroke on stage, and Montecore, sensing something was wrong, instinctively tried to carry him to safety as he would a cub. Regardless of the cause, the damage was irreversible. The show was permanently shut down, and Roy was left partially paralyzed. Siegfried, devastated, devoted himself to Roy's recovery, standing by his side through years of therapy. Though their performing days were over, they continued to care for their animals at their private sanctuary, ensuring that their beloved tigers lived in comfort. In 2020, Roy Horn passed away due to complications from COVID-19. Less than a year later, Siegfried Fischbocker succumbed to pancreatic cancer. With their passing, an era ended, but their legacy lived on. Siegfried and Roy were more than illusionists. They were dreamers who turned fantasy into reality. They defied the odds, created a spectacle unlike anything the world had seen, and left behind a story of wonder, passion, and an unbreakable bond between man and beast. Their legacy is one of magic, love, and the belief that the impossible is always within reach. Don't forget to subscribe for more exciting stories.